Hi, my name is Sylvie. I am a certified health coach and fitness trainer, and today is all about how to increase your flexibility with yoga. You probably have noticed that I've been making a lot more flexibility videos because flexibility training has become a huge part of my wellness journey, and I want to share that with you, encourage you to give it a try and see what happens. Today we'll be focusing on 9 yoga poses, and we'll be holding most of these poses for about 2 minutes. I will provide beginner modifications for all of the poses, and for the beginner modifications you may need a yoga strap or yoga blocks. We're gonna get started in downward facing dog. For downward facing dog, if you are a beginner and you're struggling and you need some modification, what you need to do is you can just not touch the ground with your heels. You can also bend your knees. What's important here is that you ensure that your tailbone remains lifted. So if your heels are down, you have to make sure that your tailbone is still lifted. Also distribute your weight evenly on your fingers. Lift through your shoulders. Don't collapse in your shoulders. And we're gonna take a few breaths here. Lift your right leg up. Feel the stretch. Bring your weight on your hands and slowly take your knee to your elbow. Lower down in pigeon pose. Your modification here for pigeon is to use a yoga block. You can sit on your yoga block. If you're not flexible enough and you're having a hard time balancing, sitting on a yoga block is going to help. Another thing is that you can take your foot closer to your hip. And as you gain more flexibility, then you'll be able to bring your foot further away from you, and your shin will be pretty much parallel to the top of the mat. And as you are holding your pigeon pose, what you can do is ensure that you are pressing your right thigh on the mat. Also, press the edge of your right foot on the mat. Press the top of your left foot on the mat. Lift through your chest. Keep your hips facing forward. And we're gonna hold this. Over time, if you do these routines often enough, listen to music. That's a tip that I often give, because you don't need to listen to the cueing and you can just follow the video while listening to music. It just helps you relax. It makes the time a lot more enjoyable. We're going to slowly get back into downward facing dog. And now you're going to lift up your left leg. Take your left knee to your left elbow and slowly lower down into your pigeon on the other side. This is a stretch that you'll most likely feel in your hip flexor, your inner thigh, your back. I really love the pigeon pose. It's definitely one of my favorites. Sometimes you may find that some tutorials have you lie down on your elbows just like so. And that's fine. I find it more difficult to stay upright, so I tend to stay upright. It just stretches different parts of your legs, and it depends on where you need more flexibility. Play around with the stretch, see what works for you. When you're stretching like that, you sometimes need to make sure that you focus on relaxing your muscles. You'll notice that your body tends to want to tense up. So focus on relaxing your neck, your shoulders, your face. Next, we're going to get into our reclined stretch, and you may need a strap for that. Lie on your back, bring your right knee into your chest. Now straighten your leg. And then you can point your toes, flex your foot. Point your toes, flex your foot. We're going to do that a few times. You can use your yoga strap now if you need to. And press on your yoga strap as you're stretching. If you don't need the strap, you can simply hold your leg anywhere that you can reach. Right now, my toes are facing towards the middle. And as you are stretching here, make sure your hips are glued to the mat, both hips. And as you exhale, you can bring your leg closer to your body, deepen the stretch. Now we can move to the right, and as you move your toes towards the right, make sure that your left hip is not lifting. Move to the left, and in this case, the right hip has to stay on your mat. I'm gonna repeat that on the other side. So take your left knee onto your chest. Squeeze your left knee. Now take your foot up. Point your toes. Flex your foot. Point your toes. Flex. And point. Now stretch by holding your ankle and bringing your leg closer to your body. You're going to take your foot to your left. I find that when I stretch this, the left hamstring, I feel it in my right hip flexor. It goes to show you that stretching your body works as a whole. Your muscles are not just individual parts that work alone. Everything is unified in your body. And I'm going to point to the right. Next, we're going to get in the forward fold, seated. You may need a strap, you may need a block. I'll show you the different ways that you can do it. If you start as a beginner, a strap is helpful. And you're going to use the strap to make sure that you keep your lower abs engaged, keep your chest up as you bring your upper body closer to your thighs. Another thing you can do is, again, you can fold at the knees, and that'll make it easier. And go to the whatever level you need to be at to feel the stretch. So it may be just like that. It may be like that. Or another option, if you are a bit more advanced, is that you use a yoga block. And then you can hold your yoga block. But whatever you do, you need to make sure that you're always engaging your lower abs. So when you're stretching your back body, you're engaging your front body. So I'm keeping my kneecaps lifted, I'm engaging my lower abs. And as you exhale, deepen in the stretch, as you feel yourself opening up. Again, I'm making sure that I'm not tensing up anywhere that doesn't need to be tensed up. You want to make sure that you're relaxing your body. But I'm engaging my front body to bring myself closer as I open up. Next, we're going to get into the cow face pose. To do the cow face pose, you're going to start by bending your right leg. So you have a 90-degree angle, and then you're going to bend your left leg on top. And if that's too difficult, you can use yoga blocks and put them under your knees, for example. And then you're going to lift up through your chest. Feel your spine lifting and take your right hand behind your back. Clasp with your left hand. And now you can stretch. You're stretching your shoulders and your legs all at once. If you can't clasp your hands together, you don't have to. You can also just hold your elbow, your left elbow, with your right hand and stretch it like that until you gain enough flexibility to clasp your hands behind your back. Whenever you do these poses, always make sure that you're elongating through your spine, opening up your chest. You can tuck your chin in slightly. That's one reason I've been loving these yoga poses for flexibility. They not only help you increase your flexibility, but many times they help you increase your strength. As you saw in my previous workout routine, it was focusing on the yoga poses that increase both your strength and your flexibility. But also, these poses are energizing. They make you feel alive. Particularly these heart opening poses that we're going to be doing. This one included, and the next two poses are really energizing poses. Now we're going to switch leg and switch hand. So bring your left knee under the right and lift up your right hand as you bring your left hand in your back. Whenever you stretch, you can pay attention to what you're feeling in your body, where you feel tight. Bring your attention to those areas, and then you can maybe focus on stretching those more frequently. Take your breath there and try to relax. Next, we're going to get in the Cobra Pose. I already mentioned that we were doing a few heart-opening poses, and the Cobra is a great one. There's two ways you can get started here. The easier way is to simply have your elbows bent in front of you at a 90-degree angle. And then as you press down on the tops of your feet, you can lift up through your chest and feel the stretch. Another way is that you can bring your hands under your armpits and then lift slowly up. You don't have to straighten your arms completely to get the stretch. So you go to wherever you can go without raising your shoulders. You have to keep your shoulders down. Again, you're going to keep your chin slightly back and open through your heart. Sometimes I also like to just bring my hands further and away in front of me. So I start at a 90-degree angle here, and then I straighten. Again, you'll be lifting up your kneecaps, pressing down on the top of your feet. Feel your weight distributed on your fingers, your hands. Next, we're gonna get into our Camel Pose. It's our last heart opening pose. It's a great one to feel more energetic and gain some back flexibility as well as stretch your front body. Sit on your heels, just like I'm doing here. And then you're going to lift up. If you are a beginner, you may find that just bringing your hands on your lower back as you lift through your chest and tuck your tailbone down. You may find that's just enough and that's where you want to stay. And if that's the case, that's fine. Stay here. And as you become more flexible, you may be able to take one hand to your heel and then you can lift through your chest, bring the other hand above you and stretch here. And then you would do the other side. Whenever you do these back stretching routines, you always need to make sure that you're elongating through your spine as you are stretching your back. You're not just like squishing your back, you're elongating. Once you have the flexibility, you can bring both your hands on your heels, either gazing in front of you or taking your head down. Press your tailbone down. Open up your chest. And then you can even untuck your toes and then take it down here. I don't really like bringing my head down. I find it still very difficult. So I'm gonna stay here for a few breaths. Sit down. Take a moment to integrate all the sensations. Next, you're gonna get back into downward facing dog. I often find that after stretching my back, downward facing dog gets harder. So I'm gonna just take enough time to feel like I can achieve downward facing dog properly again. Lift up your right leg. And slowly take your knee to your chest and bring your right foot between your hands. We're gonna get into our low lunge. You can lower your left knee down, untuck your toes, keep your knee above your foot. Elongate through your spine, open up your chest. And next you can raise your arms. Squeeze your left glute to get deeper in your stretch. Holding these poses for more than a few breaths can be quite challenging, but I find that's how you really get to see results. But sometimes if you feel things like your hands are tingling, here I feel my hands tingling, you can take them down a little bit and then make sure you're still opening up your chest, feeling the stretch in your left hip flexor. Bring your hands back down in front of you. We're going to get back into downward facing dog. And here, lift up your left leg. Take your left knee to your chest. Bring your left foot between your hands. Lower your right knee down, untuck your right toes. We're stretching the other side. Now you're engaging your right glute as you're getting deeper into the stretch. And whenever you're ready, bring your hands up. Always think of elongating, opening up your chest, tuck in your chin slightly, and breathe. Sometimes moving in the stretch helps. You can bounce in and out of your stretch. You ride the wave of discomfort. Get in deeper, move out a little, get back in. Bring your hands down. We're gonna do our last stretch for today. You're going to sit on your mat, open up your legs as wide as you can. This has been one of my favorite stretch lately. As you do this, you are pointing your toes to the ceiling and making sure that your thighs are facing the ceiling as well. So the angle of your legs is such that your thighs are facing the ceiling. Then the goal is to eventually be able to lower yourself down completely. Your chest will touch the floor. But I'm not anywhere near this, and I enjoy bouncing in and out of the stretch, and so you could try that. I like sometimes to use a weight, a yoga block, and I go up and down, just like that. Another thing you can try is to simply stay here at whatever level you are. You can put your hands in front of you, behind you, and see if you can use some of your force to get deeper in the stretch. Or you can even put your elbows on a yoga block. But as any of the stretches that we've been doing, you always need to make sure that you're engaging your lower abs. And whenever you are bending at the hips, you need to engage your lower abs and lifting up your tailbone. So you're going to make sure you're doing that. You're lifting up your kneecaps as well. And then you can take the block away eventually and get on your elbows right here. And so you can mix both up too. You can stay in your static stretch and enjoy that. You can go back to lifting up and down with a more active stretch. And stretches that feel good like this, you don't necessarily need to just always do them as part of a routine like we're doing right now. You can just Do them whenever you feel like it, and you can stay there for 5 minutes if you want. This is called Yin Yoga, when you just stay in a pose for a very long time. And it's very, very effective to increase your flexibility and give you a sense of calm and relaxation. As usual, learn to listen to your body and do what feels good for your body. As you see, I've been holding this stretch for longer because I'm enjoying it. I do it almost every day now. I do my routine, I follow my routine in my Moving with Intention program. And then after that, I just hold some of my favorite stretches for a while, and that's one of them. But you're all done for this particular routine, and I hope you enjoyed it. And if you want to increase your flexibility and would like a program to guide you along the way, a program that includes your calendar and a step-by-step roadmap that you need to follow, check out my Moving with Intention program. I created this as I myself learned to train to increase my flexibility after the age of 40 without any type of prior experience. So I think you'll find it super helpful. See you next time.